doing this live. I'm going to make a video on these 3 points that we left off the other day. This is part 2, but this is an actual live version of the trade that we're tracking. Notice how the orange boxes are our 4-hour when they cross, and the white boxes are our 2 hours. If you watch the previous video on the only trade we do, the master trade, you will know that that's what that is. So currently, the first thing we need to do is we need to find our 2 hour. And you can see right here, the 2 hour is broken down right there. And it is crossed right here at this moment. So that is the white box. So next to this trade is to wait for the 4 hour. If it's close to crossing, which it is right at this very moment, as we can see right here, it's playing footsie and it's about to cross. So that would be at this moment here. So now, once we have a 4 hour crossing, the 2 hour headed down, which it is. Let's double check. So here's our 4 hour. Step 1. Ready? Step 1 is find a 4 hour crossing down from the top, which we have right here. From the top or any of this section here headed down, right? You want some movement, you want some possibility. As you can see right here, 4 hour about to cross. Here we go. Now, once we have a 4 hour, and this can happen on any coin, it doesn't have to be CFX. You can go to, I don't know, let's check Matic. Okay, Matic, 4 hour. Look right there, 4 hour crossed on Matic. See? Here you go, let me show you. Here's your 4 hour, right? So let's get make a box real quick. Ba, 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 ba. And the 4 hour cross right here. There you go. There's your 4 hour. Crossing. Boom. Now this needs a 2 hour. Step 2. The 2 hour cross. It did. Crossing. 2 hour crossed right here. So now you have a 2 hour and that box needs to be white. Now you need a 30-minute headed down. Do you have that? You had it right here. Next box. 30-minute, but this 30 minutes headed back up. But I want to show you something here why on this particular first 30-minute it wasn't an entry, because if you would have went to your 3-minute, oh, let me go back one, wrong color. All right, 30-minute headed down. That one needs to be a yellow, right? So now 3-minute. And there's our yellow trade right there. And let's see what we have here. So when that 30 started headed down, you need a red moon, red trend, right? Here's your red moon. Here's your red trend. There's your entry. Let's see how you would have done on that first leg of the trade. Meaning that, let's go ahead. Here's your red trend on this candle. You would have been somewhere around here. And then your exit would have been somewhere here. Okay, let's see if that made money. Click. And there you go. And you would have hit your 80%, which means your stop loss would have been about 50%. So that would have been a good trade there. Now this trade is still going on because you see this is your entry here. So you're playing with it right here. And we'll come back and look at this trade, but this trade is developing. We would be out of this trade here waiting for the next red moon, red trend to go back into that trade. We're going to come back to this trade. But let's go over here and take back to our CFX. All right, perfect. So starting again, 4 hour. Waiting for it to cross right about here. Okay, looks good. 2 hour. Waiting for it to cross over. It already did. It's headed down. We're there. 30-minute. Now the key to this, guys, I'm going to show you right here is the 30-minute red trend, right? Which we have. And the 30 minutes headed down right here. So that is on this line right here. So I'm going to put a box there. And We're going to get rid of that so I can see this. So right here, let's go ahead and put a box in here. Now this box is your 30-minute headed down, and we'll make it brighter yellow right there. Perfect. So there's our 30-minute headed down. Now we'll cover some pro tips here, but a pro tip, the benefit here is that we have a 30-minute red trend. That is what we're really looking for here. That's that added confirmation that we look good. So now that we have all this set up, the 30-minute red trend right here, 30-minute red trend, that lets us know that we're in a good position. So now we're really just waiting on that 4 hour to break through. So now to kind of like see where we're at, the entry is always based off of the 3-minute, right? So entries and exits are 3 minutes. And here you would see we have a red moon and a red trend right here. Red moon, red trend, right? And you had a 30-minute red trend here, right? Which would have gave you on a pro tip, as you get better, this is a scalp trade that I like to take, which would be right here on the 30. I would have took a 30-minute red trend with that red moon, and I would have took this red 3-minute red trend right here, and I would have scalped this, which I did, which is, I'll show you in a second what this trade is. Now this isn't for newbies because you guys are still learning, but 30-minute red trend for the guys who are better at what we're doing. 30-minute red trend, 3-minute red moon, 3-minute red trend. This scalp right here gave me a 1% gain, and as you can see, I took advantage of that, and I just scalped for 95% on that. See, 138, that was 20 minutes ago. So that's a pro trade right there. Now for you newbies, that's a trade you're going to learn on the second phase. I'm just covering her right now for the guys who've been here. So newbies, you will put that on a piece of paper. This is the next move that you're going to make. This is a second quick scalp trade that you're going to learn to do in the future. So just take note of it. Don't look for it right now till you get the hang of your instruments. Okay, so that's the first trade, right? Now what I did there is I put my entry, I put my take profit at 80%. It triggered it. I took profit. Now I'm waiting for the full entry into our 4 hour RSI that we're waiting to break through. So currently we do have a green moon. So right now we need that green moon to go red. And when that goes red, that will give us our next points of entry, right? And that's probably going to go red when we get to the 4 hour crossing, which is about to happen. So that's where we're at right now. And as soon as that crosses, we're going to have our area. So if I'm looking at my chart, right, and I take a look here and I see all the volume headed down, we look real good. This looks like it's going to cross in the next 20-30 minutes, right? Remember, these are 4 hour candles, so they take a little bit of time, but everything else looks good. My whole concern is making sure that at the time that I'm getting in, my 30-minute is headed down. Looks like the 30 might bounce one more time up, and then that will be where we start to enter when the 30 starts to come back down again, right? We want to be patient here. The 15 minutes at the bottom, so we're probably going to let the 15-minute bounce up and then start coming back down. And that's where we'll find our true entries waiting on the 4 hour. So right now we have a little channel here, and what you can do is you can take a look, and if you say, okay, well, where would I put my buy-ins, right? If I'm going to set some prices, right? You would start putting buy-ins at the top of these, the average wicks, right? And you can see right here, you have an average here, right? So basically this little zone here where all the candles hit. So this area right here, and I'm going to move this here. This is the average top of that little candle. And you go right below the wicks, right about there. So now you know that a good price for you to get in would be about 1802. Now you can set some buys at that level so that if it does wick up, you get that. But the way it's falling down with all that, it's probably not going to get that. So then you would go to the next middle level, which is kind of like the support zone. You can see right here, found support, right there. Support, 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 resistance. So the next level here, I would be putting buys is 1794. So these are the areas that I would be looking to kind of like buy into. And this 1796, that was the pro entry that gave us that 100% return, right? Now we could have hung out to that. We could have hung on to that pro entry and read it for the continuation of this. But the whole purpose of getting into trades is to do one thing, right? Is to master the system that delivers you 65% trades returns on your trade every single time you trade. And the reason why is this. I want you to keep putting this in the back of your mind. You're only trading with 5, 10, 10, 20, 25, 25 bucks right now because you have to master how to trade first. Once you master this trade, right? Once you understand how to do this trade every single time, and you can just hop into a trade and deliver a 95% return, right? You could have set your take profit at 75% and you would hit that every time. The reason why is this. Once you master this trade, right, you will have a $1,000, if you only have $1,000 bag, that means every time this trade happens for you during a week, it's a minimum of $650, 65%. If you do it twice a week, it's $1,200, 4 times a week, you make $100K a year. If you have a $2,000 bag, you only have to do this trade twice a week to make $100K a year. This is why mastering this one trade is so important, is because once you master this trade over the next, 12 weeks, then you'll be able to put your money into this trade so that you can get your money out of this trade. Right now, you want to practice just doing the trade with $10, $20, right? And what you're going to do with that $10 and $20 is you're going to build that up to $1,000, and then you will know you are ready to put that whole $1,000 in and go for what you know, right? That's what we're teaching here, guys. Very simple. So now this 15 minutes going to bounce, so we should see some type of bounce here, coming back up, getting in that position, and that's where we're going to start looking for our trades. And now we go to the 1 minute just to kind of see how the volume is going. The reason why I like to watch the 1 minute once I have everything else figured out is just to see where everything is, right? So what do we have? We have a green moon, red trend, right? We need a red moon. When that goes red, that's going to let me know that it's getting closer to the time. And as it gets closer to the time, I need to pay more attention. So we're getting there, right? And I'm also watching the price here, right? So I'm trying to see where these candles are constantly hitting. As you can see, we're starting to get an average in here about 1788, right? That's kind of like this line here. And I'm going to change that color to the light green there, because what that's going to do is that's going to let me know that, hey, everything is really starting to come together here. You might want to start getting some entries here at this 1788 line, because it has literally fought this position for a little bit of time. So this is where I want to start putting my at least a 20% buy zone right in here. And you want to make sure you get your targets. So put it 1788 would be my area. So every time this wicks, so I'm gonna put this box here as my buy zone, which would be 1787 and 1788. And I'm going to put that box there just to show you guys that if you're putting your buys in that area, how many times as we're waiting for this 4 hour to actually like hit, or the red moon to hit, right? How many times that we can get a good entry, right? So first set your, let's say we put 20% buys at 1787, right? It's currently at 1786. We put a 20% buy. How do you do that? You go over here and you say, okay, I like 1787. And I'm going to put a buy of 20%, right, of my bag right at that point, and you click open short. And then when it hits that mark, it will open. The other mark that I'm looking for is 1788, and I put another 20%. And then just to protect my movement, I go one a little bit higher on the next one for 20%, and then I do one more for 20%, right? So now if it does jump on me, I have all that extra in there, and we have a really nice average buy-in of what we have. As you can see here, I've already have these average buy-ins already set. They've already triggered, and you can see here average entry price 1788. Okay, so I've already got all those already entered, and you can see right here I have a 1793 in case it jumps up. I don't think it's going to do that, but I always have protection on my account to make sure that I'm set up. So now that I've seen this area kind of like consolidate, I can tell that we're getting in the zone here. I need to start picking up a little bit because we are losing volume here, and I don't want to be not in the trade, right? So currently I'm doing a $200 bag, as you can see here. So I have my first buys happen at that level each time, and on average I got in at 1788, but I have 75% of my bag in, and the other 25% is waiting for orders, right? And those orders are waiting for all this to happen. Let's see. Do. All right, so now that we have that there, let's go check on Matic real quick, and we'll take a quick look at the Matic trade that we were looking at earlier, to basically go over some basics here so you guys can see what's going on here. Okay, so remember what we're looking for here. So first things first, the orange box is the 4 hour headed down. Let's go find it. 4 hour headed down. Bada boom, crossed right there. Locked in. Perfect. Next is the 2 hour headed down. Boom, crossed right there. Locked in. Next, 30 minute. Now what's important about the 30 minute, right? 30 minute is heading down, but also what's important about the 30 minute is that we get a 30-minute red trend, which we have right here. The 30-minute comes up, starts to head down right there, and there you go. That's your entry. Now let me go ahead and mark this off for you so you can understand what you have. So your entry would have been right here on that 30-minute, headed down, crossing right there. So we're going to put you here as an entry point, right? So far, that's your entry right there. Right, so 30 minutes starts to head down. There you go. That's kind of where we were on that side. Now that starts to go down, where do you go? You go to your 3 minute, right? Because everything's going in your favor. What do you need to happen when the 30 minutes starts to go down, which is right here? You need a red moon, a red trend, right? So let's see where that is. Right, here's your 30 minute right here. Starts to go down. You come over here. 3 minute green, you wait. 3 minute red moon right here. 3 minute red trend, this candle. This is your entry point right here. Let's turn this into green, or let's get something I can see. Okay. We'll go blue. Okay. Boom. There's an entry point right there. Okay. First entry. Now, the way trades go right, is that you stay in the trade until you get a green moon, green trend, which happened here. So green moon, green trend right here. So that would be the first enter and out. So let's do a quick check of how we did here, which would be locking in here, sliding to that entry, and we were able to skip out a nice little 50% return. Remember, we're always putting our entries right there. So if you would have closed out of this trade, you would have made it's 60%, which would have been equivalent to about 50 because of fees, right? So you'd made about 50%. So there's your first one, right? So now as we move over, we track this because all the trades are still in our favor, right? So let's slide over to the 30. And what we're waiting for is the second 30 to do what it does, right? So here it goes up, comes down, and then it starts to go up, right? So we need to take this, which we already did, and we would say that's the end of that trade. The next time the 30 bends down is here. So let's take another box, and we're going to mark the 30 bending down, which happens right here. So far, the 30 is in the second bend down mode. So then we go to the 3 minute, and let's see how we look on this on a deeper scale. And this is, you know, assuming that the 2 hour and the 4 hour are still doing what they're going to do. All right, boom, there's the breakdown. You have a red moon, you don't have a red trend. You have a green moon, you have a red trend. And finally, you get a red moon right here. So your new entry would be off of this candle right here, right? So this is your new entry. So far, you have this new entry. And I'm going to put a little price label so that we know that we're entering right here. So there's our new entry. And so far, we don't have a green moon, green trend, but that's our trade right there. So let's see how that goes. So we're going to track these two trades live. All right, sliding over, 4 hour on our CFX. Yeah, we're looking good here. We're looking good. It's pushing through. It's not rejecting. That's what we want to see. I think somebody posted about Matic. That's the reason why I looked at it. Now this right here, these are the last hurrahs. Let's go to our 4 hour. And this is where volume is huge, right? I'm gonna show you a couple different things here. All right, we're gonna CFX long here, right? So let's go check out CFX real quick. And our CFX, we always, here's our green. We close on green trend. We hit all our entry targets here. Remember, we have a 1793 entry point. So all our entry points here hit. Looks like 1793 is going to hit as well. All right, let's take a look at the 15-minute. This is where waiting for the 15-minute to go back up is key, and waiting for the 30-minute to go back up. All right, so it's bending down. Looks like it wants to pump here. So this is where we were talking about right here, right? And we answered Springer. We need the 30-minute headed south, so we wait and then we enter, right? Okay. And that's what we were talking about, Springer's anyway. So how to explain that. All right, so in this video, we're going to put it right here. So right now, let's take a look at CFX. And we're going to take a look at the 30-minute, right? So here's your 30-minute. It's coming towards the bottom. We still have room to come down here a little bit. There's a little room here, but when you take a look at the 15, that's the issue. And the 15 lets you know that you're going to be waiting here to enter. There we go. Copy. Okay, so this is good. This is good learning here. Okay, so now we need the 15 to start heading down. We need the 30 to start, keep going down, so we're good there. And let's see here. Same on Matic. Let's go look at Matic real quick. As you can see here, Matic is headed up. And here you go, 30 starting to head down on Matic there. So Matic is starting to look good there. So 30 minutes starting to break down on Matic. Now, another thing I want to do here, now that we're switching in, I don't want to go, maybe I'll come back to Matic and do this separately because I want to cover, okay, here's our volume, right? Here's our lines, right? So first of all, we need the 4 line. Put the 4 line in there. You need the 8 line. Put the 8 line in here. So that's why I don't like doing 2 things at once, because these are 2 different coins and we have to go through all the evaluation. So here's your 4 line, right? Positive volume on the 30 above the 4, positive volume above the 8 line there. So we're not below that, right? So now we slide over to the 3 minute. Notice here how the volume looks here where we're seeing this little push up. So I like to have the volume below anytime that we're doing any of these lines here. I like the volume to be negative, right? Which we have here on the 15 on Matic, right in here. So good little zone there. And the only thing that we're rating for here is the 15 minute to make its move. And that's why over here you can see on this first entry, let me make this bigger. So right here you can see that first entry that we got over here earlier was a good move based on the 15 minute headed down, and then once it bounced here, this is no longer an entry here until that 15 minute starts to head down. So this entry right here, or that was actually the bottom of the next one. So the 34.74 area is not a good entry because that 15 minute is still, it hasn't fully committed to the downside, right? So that would be, let me mark this line right here. And I want to take a look at the 30 at that time. Yeah, so right there. So the 30 and the 15 were both kind of headed up there. You need them falling down before you get that entry. So this is why that entry right there wouldn't have worked for us. Now that I'm looking at this a little more clearly, that's why that entry right there wouldn't have worked, is because the 15 starts to go down here, would have gave you a good entry, but then it bent right there. So on the 15 minute, if you were watching this and you got in on that bend, you would have been somewhere over here. All right, and then you would have got it to this point here. Now, does that make money in that zone there? It's about a 30% bounce on there. You probably would have got caught off guard, but a lot of times, that little move there, you need also the 30 to be headed down. So when this broke down and it showed you it was breaking down right here, you would have went to your 30 minute and you would have seen that the 30 minute hadn't crossed yet, right? You see there? See right here the 15 crossed, but right here the 30 didn't cross. You see that? So because it didn't cross, you can't enter this trade. So you wouldn't have entered that trade anyway, so you wouldn't be in a bad position. Okay, so now I got to go back to CFX because we're in this particular trade. So right now we're waiting to get in this trade, and now we're waiting on this 15 minute, and the 30 is going to swing across, and that's what we're waiting for here. We're waiting for this 15 minute to cross back down. Remember, it has to cross back down, and that's where we're at right now. So the 15 minute needs to cross back down, and the 30 minute needs to cross back down if it hasn't when the 15 makes its move. So that's where we're at right now, guys. So that's the way to look at the trades, and this is moving through. I'll do a full video on here. I just wanted to make a quick vid here to where we are, kind of like what we're doing as we move through, and then I'll make a full video on this in a little bit. But right now the 30's crossed, but the 15's moving up, so we're on hold.